welcome to episode number 8 of For the Record podcast. My name is Rhoni. I'm one of your hosts, and I've got here
Danielle. I'm your other.
How's it going, guys?
I'm, just in awe. We went for Rhoni wanted 2 people to listen. What was it? 2? You're like, just 2.
No, I was shooting for 2 or 3, yeah.
Like 5. And what are we at now?
Like every episode we adding 32 people. So we're about 300 and something listens.
Wow. Expectations are met. Thank
Shattered.
you all. And it's not even, I don't look at the numbers. And honestly, I hate to say this out loud, but I'm going to tell you, Rhoni, I totally don't listen to them after I've left. Don't listen to them. Don't watch them. It's good for my self-esteem. I don't want to hear my voice. Has anyone ever left a message on an old school answering machine and then caught yourself and had to listen to it? And you're like, oh my, I sound like a child. My voice is just ridiculous.
It's so funny. So I've heard podcasts out there that I listen to too, right? And those podcasts, I'm like, there's always 2 people or they're having a conversation. There's always the one person that actually goes back once it's done and it's up. They listen to it. The other person never does.
Oh, so we established this.
100%. That is 100% you and me. The guys put it together.
Yeah.
And once it's out, I don't get to listen to it unless I'm driving because I do the car test every time with our audio side of things. So I basically, if I'm driving somewhere, I put it on and then that's when I listen to the podcast. So it might be a couple of days before I listen to the podcast that's already out.
Yeah.
So unless there's flaming comments and people are rioting because of something we said, I we're fine.
After we released the first one, everyone's like, oh my, you guys are so funny. I'm like, are we? And then we started to analyze
that's just our personality.
Are we funny? Are we not funny? And I'm like, do we need to add more humor? It got into my head a little bit.
That's just our personality.
And what's the best part? It's the first episode, I overdid it. Showed up with fake eyelashes, did my hair, did my animal print, did my Carol Baskin. She's shocking. Sorry.
That joke still runs, eh?
I know.
Everybody still talks about she looks like Carol Baskin.
Oh, thank you. And okay, so then I got us off track here, but then you posted a picture of Lori and she's wearing animal print, announcing that she's going to be part of the team. And it you guys just looked. If you haven't scrolled through those pictures, please do. You got to swipe through them all because there's one awkward family photo in there. Anyway, so she's wearing animal print, and I immediately messaged. And I'm barely on social media. I'm just surviving. I'm barely drowning because I'm already dead. Just drinking. But so I happened to look at this post. Is what I'm saying. Just out of all the minimal time I've been spending on social media, that popped up. I felt the need to message you. I said, I'm not. I could be jealous of the relationship, could be jealous of the pictures, but ultimately, we both can't wear animal print.
There can only be one. there can only be one Carol Baskin. So this is with Lori and Danielle. I'm gonna leave it on your court. So you both take it up with each other about this whole animal print.
If she keeps to zebra, and I will do the cats. I think we can have a good friendship here.
Oh my god. Yeah. I have never thought I'm gonna have a conversation about animal print clothing for within the 2 of you.
I don't know. Clothing's been a big thing.
That's why I just go pick one color or 2 colors. Basically, my colors are white and black. Okay,
and wore Clifford red.
Well, that
Hunter
came in the mail, and I didn't buy that one. Those are stuff.
Yeah. You're lying. Yeah, exactly.
No. That one was I bought it. That one was a contest I entered and I got it.
I am 100% sure whatever you just said was wah, 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 and all I could think of, he still owns more clothes than I do.
Jesus. Okay, what are we even? Oh, before that, you wanted to talk about your dry shampoo thing.
Oh my god, no! I didn't want to talk about it. I was laughing just before we started recording. I was like, yeah, first day here, I came in trying to look so hot. I was trying so hard. And then with the bright lighting, I'm like, that looks worse. That looks awful. We should not post video.
Danielle, we got one light that is dedicated for this podcast.
And I laughed. I was like, this lighting is exposed for your skin, not mine.
Hey. I gotta, without flash, I don't show up on anything. Okay.
We have a real problem here.
My eyes and my teeth show up and that's it. So I need this dome of light for us to.
I'm transparent. I'm the one voting right now.
Oh man, we got to tone down Danielle's
Bring
colors
it down,
a little bit.
back it up.
Look at it.
Don't
She looks pasty. Yeah, she looks a little pasty right now. She's
I'm
like she's got no blood on her
I was
face.
joking. I was like, you gotta laugh because like now we're 8 episodes in. I declined really fast. I probably slept in the sweater. Literally, I was like, "Ooh!" As the episode's coming up, or I'm planning my day. Even today, like supposed to be here at 2, leaving my house at 1:30, like a 35-minute drive, and I'm literally shaking the bottles of dry shampoo. Got enough for one more episode.
Oh man,
I can't even.
This has been 5 minutes of absolute great personal content.
But have you noticed my new cheekbones? Oh, wearing barely any makeup. Yeah, no, I gotta give a little shout out to the girls at the skin clinics, Michaela and Sydney. Got some new cheekbones. Yeah, courtesy of the skin clinics.
She's like, I didn't even have to have makeup on.
No, they needed a model. I'm like, me, I was born for this. I'm like, nothing good happens to me. 4 years ago, I won some coffee. And I was like, awesome. So I'm like loving my cheekbones. Look at like you can get some shadow on them. Doing my catwalk.
If you're watching the video right now, Danielle's feeling herself.
Yeah.
Shout out to Skin Clinics for making her feel herself right now.
Thank you, Skin Clinics, Michaela and Sydney.
Also, since we shout them out, we need sponsors.
Okay, we're working on it. But my cheekbones today were brought to you by Skin Clinics.
Okay. Also, our coffee today is Forbidden Flavors. We decided to go local.
Yeah, we've been doing shows.
Tim Hortons didn't want to listen. So
like hook, line, and sinker, but no fish.
Nothing. But listen, Forbidden Flavors, if you're listening, we love your coffee.
Yeah. I'm like, I am not a Pacific. Let's call it what it is. I'm a coffee whore. I'm not Pacific. I'll go
okay, we are getting R-rated on this episode.
Anywhere for coffee. So whoever wants to sponsor us, that'd be great.
Oh my God. Anybody who wants to sponsor us. But talking about
it. $4 sponsor.
Like $2 a coffee for $4. We'll start somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. For about 300 people listening right now, $4 is great.
You know what? Look at our growth. We're getting there. We deserve some free coffee. What do you want out of this? Free coffee.
Free coffee. That's it. Okay, what are
we talking about today?
Dude, that was 7.5 minutes of absolute craziness.
Let's not overanalyze it. Kate, I got it up in here. We are going to talk about a timeline. This is a massive topic. It's a changing topic. Mm-hmm. Take it lightly. Some things are going to stick. Some things aren't. Everybody's timeline's different, but we're going to try to help you out with this.
Also, but before we get into it, sorry to sidetrack you again, because I have to talk about it. Did you watch the Oscars last night?
I don't have TV.
Same. But did you get on Instagram this morning?
No.
What are you doing? It's everywhere.
I'm surviving.
That is true. We get so apparently.
Okay, what happened?
Will Smith walked up. So Chris Rock was presenting. Chris Rock's the comedian, is the MC. So presenting, and he made a joke about Will Smith's wife, and from different sources, the first initial reaction was Will Smith was laughing at the joke. But then he turned around and looked at his wife, and she's fuming about the joke because she didn't like the joke. Mm-hmm. So Will Smith walked up and smacked Chris Rock in the face. Like slap hard. And then walked away and said, "Don't talk about my wife. Get my name on my wife's name off your mouth," or what, and dropped a couple F-bombs on TV. Copped a couple F-bombs on live TV.
That changes my view on him.
And we're gonna get political, but no, it literally happened on live TV. I didn't watch it either, but again, I've stopped watching Oscars 3 years ago when they canceled Kevin Hart, but it just don't make sense. But
I need to watch this.
It is hilarious. Okay, Silas, pull it up. It's everywhere.
Gonna find it. Really?
It's everywhere. For the people listening, I'm sorry, we're sidetracked from timeline episode. We'll get there.
View here is this is important. Pursuit of Happiness. Still crying about that.
Oh. No, go back. Like, go to the point. Like, not this. Show the point where he actually walks up. One before.
I wonder if this was at all planned. You know, like
too many clips.
See, I think it is staged. I want to say 100% it's
like,
staged.
remember
But they're never going to say it's staged because then it'll just lose all credibility of being staged.
Well, I mean, as we all know,
watch.
Okay. What? It was like a slap punch.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of it.
Yes, literally.
Wow.
Like it sounded like a punch.
Look at, he's kind of like, I don't know.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of it.
He didn't even wait for a reaction.
So drop the shit bomb, right?
Yeah. Oh.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. Jane のジョークだったんです。
Oh, he's serious.
Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
テレビ史上最高の場面でしょうか。
Oh my.
That just happened.
Okay, that was real. I don't know. To drop F-bombs?
Right, to drop F-bombs, and you see Chris Rock's face go absolutely he was
just trying to, he was shocked.
He dude tried to keep it professional.
Wow.
And the presenters who came after, apparently, from what I read, and Twitter's all over it, and it's just like, they were all trying to say, listen, you gotta solve this like family, blah, blah, blah. Diddy said that, apparently. So it's just like, it's like all over the place.
I missed this. I was sleeping through this.
Dude, I was coming back from Winnipeg, and then that's when I saw this absolutely, and then I'm like watching this while like missing network signal. And it was all over the place.
I can barely get back to people right now. I haven't eaten today. There's that. It's what, 3 o'clock?
But no, so we're not an opinion piece. We're not gonna say any opinions on this.
I got opinions. Listen up.
Oh my god.
No, but all seriousness, because you see those crazy things that happen, and you're like, oh, you weren't talked about, now you're talked about. Did you do that on purpose?
See, that's the thing, right? So Oscars have been losing relevance over the course of these past little years, and then
now I'm interested.
they have to some sort of massive PR at it to make people talk about it. Are we gonna
start smacking each other around? Is that what's going on? Wait,
listen, we don't. We're still relevant. Okay, we're still.
Just joking. It's just me.
14 views.
Woo! Sorry.
So yeah, no, I think it was. I 100% think it's staged, but they were never going to come out and say it's not staged, because then it loses all credibility about what the stage was about. And because the part is, he laughed about it, and then he came back after, which is like, I don't know.
It's interesting, or I don't know. I always wonder. I'm super naive. I'm from the farm. I'm like, I'm not really on the up and up, but what drug are you on? You know what I mean?
No, I never know. Now this is the new Kanye moment, right?
Absolutely.
This is the new Kanye. Yeah. It's not Kanye going up to Taylor and be like, okay, I'm gonna let you finish, but it's not that anymore. So it's
I would have never pegged a Will Smith as a slap punch. And then
it sounded like a punch, but it sounded like it looked like a slap. I don't know what happened. Chris Rock is still standing, and Will Smith's a good he works out. So that slap must have hurt at some level.
It was a slap punch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No one get me in trouble for this, but if you're a big manly man, who goes around slapping? I don't know. I don't want to gender whatever. I don't want to make assumptions.
You slap?
I feel like slapping's
I understand. Okay, somebody made fun of your wife, but slapping.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Am I laughing? People get so offended these days. I don't know if I should be making fun of a slap or not. Don't know.
On the other hand, people are like, you know what? It's supposed to be comedy. If you can't take a joke, what is the end of it? Right. And then now I'm going back to Will Smith's career as a freaking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was made on career and making fun of people. How do you not? Didn't you not make fun of Carlton every episode that you were on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, geez.
So, but yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So that turned out to be opinionated.
Back to what we need to talk about.
Dude, it's been 15 minutes. We haven't gone on
and this is a big episode. Okay, sorry, we're wasting some time. We are going to talk about timelines. right? It's like
We are
before
going to talk
our
about
deal.
timelines.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin, but we have I know my clients ask me, and I always say, and I don't know what other photographers do for their clients. I have no idea, but I'm going to tell you my side of things.
Mhm.
I always make their timeline for them. The reason being is because I need to get the content, and sometimes your timeline does not work for me, or you just don't know the things that you need to know, and I need the content. So I will make sure it makes sense because I know how long it takes me to get the content that I want to give back to you.
And there are two types too, right? So if you have a wedding planner, the wedding planner is going to work very closely with one other vendor that is
it's
going to
totally
help.
different when you have a wedding planner.
But even
This is their job.
then, they're going to work with one other vendor that's closely to get that timeline for the day going, and that is the photographer or the videographer.
I don't
right?
want anyone to stress about a timeline because there's always a way.
There's always time for it.
Always if you're like, well, I want to do it this way, that way, this way, then it's not hard to figure out unless there is an exception unless you don't want to do okay, what we're always talking about, you don't want to do a first look, but you want a 4:00 ceremony and you have a massive bridal party. It's not going to work.
There are some logistical issues that will work.
Or it just won't.
So basically that's what we're going to do is just go over the day of how we plan a wedding. And again, this is loosely
fluid.
It's not set on stone. Yeah, it's not the same and it's not set in stone. And this is just to give you an idea of how the day could go. And how we could plan it. Now you can move things around, puzzle pieces, and then move it all around, make it fit for your style and per day.
Basically, we're taking a very, very, very loose example because every time you move a ceremony or however which way you're going to do it, or even the number of people, every time you move it an hour, half an hour, the day shuffles, right? So take it lightly, try to make the best use of the information we can possibly give you, right?
Right. So, and the way we're going to also talk about here today is, again, Danielle's going to sort of lay out one of our couples that she worked with and how the timeline went. And that timeline sort of applies to both photo and video. And I'm going to sort of also talk about a entertainment timeline, how we sort of set up a timeline for the couple from an entertainment vendor perspective, from the start of the ceremony until pretty much the last song of the night kind of thing. So we're going to go over two different timelines, but collectively they all work towards this
same goal.
The same goal. And
perfect day.
Yeah. So 100%, it's a perfect day. We're trying to plan that day and stack as much things as possible so we don't have to, rush anything or at the same time miss anything, right?
Yeah.
So first things on a timeline. What would you do to get started on a timeline for a couple?
We have one here, and it's actually one I did last month. Do you just want to pull that up? There, thank you. Okay, so didn't ask them, hope they don't mind, but I took a quick second to X out some numbers. So if you're watching video, you'll see this. If not, just picture it in your head. A timeline for me, I always include this, and I think you should when you're giving it to your vendors. So the timeline that I make can be sent to anybody really, mom, dad, bridesmaids, and your vendors, your videographer. It's fluid. Anyone can look at it, that kind of thing. I always include the numbers myself and any kind of coordinator. I also put the number of the bride, groom, and then I also put the number of their best man and their bridesmaid or maid of honor. The reason being is because the bride and groom shouldn't really have their phones on them all day. So if I actually need something or something actually went awfully wrong, like something started on fire, I'm probably going to text probably going to give a call. So I don't want to work up the bride and groom, right? I want to see how I can manage the situation without ruining their day. So I might actually call the best man or the mom or the maid of honor and see how I can deal with it and adjust it and go from there.
Right.
And usually those people do have their phones on them. So there's often reasons if I can't get a hold of you, I know you're with your best man, I know you're with your mom, or I know you're with your maid of honor. I include those numbers. Great thing to have just on your plans. The other thing, that's not that important. I also include all the locations. So if you are sending this thing around, you're making your own timeline, include all the locations on there. So when you look at it, no one's texting you, asking you for an address. It's already on a document you can send to everybody. This one's in detail. Not at all. This is my wedding tips into a plan, but it says, okay, 11 o'clock, men getting ready photos. I need your room number. I put that in there. And I said, guys, please be dressed and ready to go. Everything but boutonnieres on. Danielle will get you undressed, and feel free to ask your mom, dad, brother to put on your boutonniere if you wish. We do this photo first. So why do I do that in my timeline is because I can take photos of you getting undressed, and how would anyone know? Right. So general rule of thumb, every photographer is different. Please don't cut and paste this onto your photographer. But general rule of thumb, and it all depends on how many guys, and location does matter. But I allow 45 minutes for the guys getting ready, wherever that starts. Like I said, everybody's so different, because the way that I take my men getting ready photos, I haven't heard of anyone else doing it that way. So everyone's a bit different.
And from a video perspective too, like again, this timeline that Danielle is going to go through can apply exactly for us, right? So, again, other videographers might be different, but from a video perspective, most of our guys sort of follow the photographer, let them take the lead in terms of where they're going, how they're doing it, just so we're not pulling the people and the couple in two different directions. Like we won't have the time for it, right?
Exactly. So. And the other thing about this, you guys, is like, if anything, you get a general overview of like, oh, cool, that's how they did things, right? Okay, so girls getting ready photo, there has to be driving time. So if you don't know what the driving time between the men's getting ready and the girls getting ready, drive it. I don't care if you drive it like 6 months before the wedding. Somebody has to tell you, don't trust Google Maps, but drive it. Another thing is too, if you're sending a Google Map pin, we got caught up on this at a wedding down by Boys of Maine, I think, where they sent us a Google pin, but they didn't check it beforehand. So I remember Silas and I were like in the middle of the field. I'm like, no house here. Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay. So check it. Like send it to a friend, get them to open it up, screenshot it, send it back. So just those tiny little details so you know that it's correct. Because Google Maps or however you send your location or your pins, sometimes when you're out in the country, it doesn't work the way you intended. Okay. So bring that back up for me so I can take another look at it. Okay. So allow that time, put those times in, get those ready when you go to make it. Another thing here for girls getting ready photos, I allow a minimum an hour. Minimum. All depends on bridal party, all depends who's all gonna be there, even depends if your hair and makeup girls are your friends, because then I'll focus on those photos as well. So anyway, with the timeline for that, you want to allow yourself lots of time. And then I even have on my timeline, I said, okay, to the bride, it would be helpful for you to have your hair and makeup done by this time. So I can get the tail end of you being finished. I doubt you need as a person, you don't need 100 photos of you walking around with no makeup on, not really ready. That's not the way I take the photos. So I also say, get all your stuff ready, have it ready in the corner, and I'm trimming down as much time as I possibly can on a timeline to make that work. So, like I said, minimum girls, at least an hour getting ready. And when I say an hour, I'm talking about the girls are pretty much ready.
Right. When
I walk through the door, I'll give more time. If I can fit more time in the day to spend more time there, I will, but general rule of thumb. And then I put the driving time in. And a lot of times you got to take a little bit of your day and allow the photographer, there's got to be time in there for the photographer to get to your reception and to get to your ceremony and get pictures of them before anybody else is in. So even when you're thinking, okay, we're going to put this sign up not till 9 o'clock at night, well, it might not be in your pictures then, right? So the best rule of thumb
in terms of setting up for the ceremony, to make sure everything is ready at least an hour prior to ceremony, or an hour and a half prior to ceremony starting, just so nobody's worrying about if everything is ready at the ceremony or not. And second of all, also having to give this opportunity for vendors, videographers, and photographers to get shots of it, because that's part of it. And the decor at the ceremony, the arch and the flowers and everything you have set up at the ceremony is part of it, right? From your entrance sign to everything, because you think about all of those and you want them sort of part of it, right? So.
And if the day goes awry and you have people in those shots, it's also storytelling. Please don't get worked up about that. That is, if things go awry, that those detail shots are something I would totally sacrifice and figure out how to get them later.
100%. So and that applies to, again, both ceremony and also reception in terms of have the decor ready. So maybe sometimes, the chairs are being used at both the ceremony and reception, and that's fine. But when the switch happens again, we'll make sure to get some shots in before.
bride and grooms don't think about that.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, if you're doing your own timeline and your photographer doesn't do it for you, you don't have, I'm taking that away from you. That's so loud. Okay. Anyway, so something to think about in your timeline is giving your person or your video person that, and you just have to ask them like, hey, what do you need for this or that? Or just things to consider when you're booking things or you're booking your hair and makeup girls, that kind of thing. But general rule of thumb, everybody's a little bit different, but I have found the most success lately by asking the majority of the girls to be done by the time I walk in or within 15 minutes to 20 minutes of being completely ready to go. Because I don't know. I'd like to, I don't say I'm high maintenance, but on my wedding day, not married, FYI, 27 dresses here. Always bridesmaid, never the bride. But I don't need a whole bunch of pictures of me not being ready.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm extra. I just want the ones with my friends. That's where I'm putting my money and my time to. I don't know.
It's a bit of everything too for us, right? So like it's got to be equal amounts of everything, and it's not just overload on one person, one thing, or everything, right? So it's got to in my head when we start putting things together or start filming things for the day when it starts, we try to get an overall shot selection of everything that's happening. So when we start putting the whole story together again, and this isn't in your case if it's an album or if it's a video, it's got a good amount of. But you want those girls being
ready, and that, like, I'm a huge advocate of your bride getting ready first. You have time to go back, those kinds of things. So say if your day is going Ray or the makeup and hair is going longer and your video and your photography people show up and they have allotted that hour, and for 45 minutes of that hour, you're still getting ready, like you're still getting your makeup and hair done, when that whole entire hour, you could have been getting your makeup and hair done for 15 minutes, and then you could have been being in your dress, laughing with your girlfriends, enjoying, having fun, getting more candidates. So just think about that in your timeline, because it does matter when your photographer shows up for your getting ready photos. Do you want to bring that back up again for me? Perfect. Okay. So then, we're going to the ceremony. We talked about getting ready for the guys, how much time, girls, talking about the driving time. So important to incorporate that. Your ceremony. I always say to people when I make this massive timeline and I add in all these details, it looks like, oh, wow, when you look at it. And I always say to the bride and groom, every time you talk about a timeline, as long as you make it to the ceremony at some point and your food's warm when you eat,
the rest is taken care of.
Yep.
That's all matters.
Ultimately, though, I mean, it's scary to have someone slap this all this the documents in front of you, but that it's not.
It's not. It's a guideline. The guideline's there to do the two things. One, to make sure every other vendor that are available there gets an idea of how the day is going to roll. Yep. Two, how you know how your day is going to roll, so you have an idea of what all where needs to be, who needs to be where. And third, it's just keeping your guests sort of engaged into the evening and the day, just so they don't feel like, okay, what is happening next? But rather the timeline just gives the people running it. So this is either your MC or you guys or, anybody who's running it, a guideline to sort of how the day is going to go.
And if it was me, I would prefer like the bride and groom to take a glance at this and give me the okay. And I said this to actually my last bride and groom I just did the other month. And I said, you don't have to focus on this. I know it. That's all that matters. I know it. So-and-so knows it. This person knows it. You don't have to know it. We'll keep your day going for you. Like, it's not something you have to put on your Apple Watch.
100%.
You don't need to print out.
Again, no. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Not everything. Not a lot of things that day is going to sort of necessarily apply to everyone. And like the timeline is again, as I said, I'm going to repeat this again. It's a guide. It's a guideline that's going to help how the day is going to go. And it's not a set on stone thing. It's not everything follow every single pointer thing. It's not a, if this doesn't happen, the day is done kind of thing. It's a guideline to sort of navigate through the day, enjoying it while everything is happening, at the same time sort of considering everybody that's involved with it, either your vendor or your guest.
And if you are a type A, we haven't even if you are a type A and you're like, no, I want my own timeline, hand it to your photographer, videographer, and be like, they're going to make changes to it. Have the mindset that this is fluid. Don't be too hard on anything. Have the mindset this is this is ready to be changed. Okay, so going back to what we have here.
I think we're going to have to do a part 2 of this right after this. So how about this?
Okay.
All right. This is part 1 of Timeline. Just because we finished 15 minutes talking about world things and personal things. We'll do the part 2 of this. So I guess episode 9 is going to be done right now.
Yeah.
And you'll hear part 2 of it.
So do I change my
Next week.
outfit? Just joking.
No. We're gonna have to get through this.
Okay, sounds good, you guys.
All right, thank you for listening to episode number 8 of For the Record podcast. Everybody, again, come back for part 2 of Timelines, and hopefully we'll keep that. We don't cross the 15-minute mark of just talking about world news there. But again, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to click follow and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and comment. What do you think? What do you think about this? And also share it with anybody that you think would benefit from this, right?
Yeah. And my final comments here. Hello, Marks. That's all. Mark Willis.
Have to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching to For the Record podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Bye now.